Let's talk about testosterone. You did just mention it briefly, and I know you love talking about it.
Yeah.
And you talk about it more for male health.
It's an epidemic. I call it the Mandemic.
Mandemic.
It's a massive decline you've seen it as well in the male fertility. It does play a role, obviously, in contraception.
Even mood.
Mood, energy, they're irritable.
A lot of very unhappy men.
And a lot of unhappy CEOs, the ones that are making the most money, that are earning the big bucks, that are super stressed, running off 5 hours of sleep, running on 5 cups of coffee a day, they're usually the ones that have low testosterone because their job is so stressful. Then they're not sleeping well. Then they're relying upon sleeping tablets. They're taking stimulants. They're using Ritalin, things like that to get through. That can all tank testosterone. Not to mention the fact that vaping as well is so common, particularly amongst like 20, 30-year-olds. They think it's cool to vape, and really
it's just a disaster, isn't it?
So bad.
I've said that to my children. I'm like, please just promise me that's one thing that we just, please don't.
It's just not cool. There's obviously a range of different factors. You've got the xenoestrogens, the microplastics, obviously that's infiltrating our environment, affecting fertility. You've got people smothering their bodies in sunscreen. That's like toxic sunscreen, lowers testosterone because it literally makes its way to the testes. You've got lack of sunlight exposure, artificial light, sedentary behavior. So everyone's just sitting at a desk. They're not moving. They're sitting on an EMF laptop, which is basically cooking their testes. Anytime the testes get 2 degrees too warm, it stops spermatogenesis, which is why I've basically popularized. Have you heard me talk about icing the testes?
I tell my patients to do this too.
Oh, do you? Mm-hmm. Oh, thank you. Thank you for doing that. Yeah.
Especially people who are sitting down all day, truck drivers, need to cool them down.
It really works. If you go on YouTube and you type in icing testicles testosterone, my video's got over 100,000 views. You've got thousands of guys commenting their blood test results before and after icing, and it literally increases testosterone.
Amazing.
I recommend that to all guys because it's a free hack. It costs you nothing. Just make sure that you don't get pulled over by the cops for...
Well, I don't think they're really going to tell you what are you doing there. I'm sitting on ice.
I'm addicted to ice.
Not that kind.
Yeah.
Well, obviously the sedentary nature of a lot of people's lives, a massive contributing factor. Huge. But then there's other things like sunlight, like you mentioned.
Yeah. But then also you got the polyester underwear as well. And guys don't know this, but wearing polyester, and the analogy I like to look at is when you wear polyester like t-shirt, for example, and you take it off, you get the sparks that go off. That same thing happens when you're wearing polyester underwear up against the testes. So you're getting micro little zaps.
Getting shocked the whole time.
Yeah. You're just making yourself infertile, and it can actually lead to severe infertility just by wearing polyester underwear.
How much of a factor do you feel that fertility is the male part plays in?
I would say it's up there pretty high.
Say it's more
than 50. I'm happy to say more, but I thought you were going to say that.
No, I think it's more.
Yeah, 60-70%.
I really do.
Yeah.
And even if I'm looking at miscarriage in women, anyone that's miscarrying before 9 weeks, I will always look at the male first.
Wow. Yeah. That's.
I think it's a big thing that's it's always not looked at. I mean, if an embryo up until that point, the placenta forms at around 9 weeks, then the embryo is doing the heavy lifting up until then.
Right. Do you think it's like a sperm motility, sperm count, or is it just the quality of the sperm?
I think it's
itself?
the quality. I have been doing this long enough to see the decline. It was only still 4 to 5% morphology when I first started in the industry, and now to see normal be considered 1 to 2%. Just in that short amount of time. Very rarely will I see a test result where the morphology is more than 10%, maybe twice a year. I don't think anyone's going to have 100% perfect sperm. That's not the way it works. Do you have 100%?
I hope so. I really hope so. You're
not supposed to. We're not supposed to, but we're supposed to have far better numbers than we see. And now we're accepting these as normal, which is heartbreaking because it's not normal. It's just the average.
The average. They do the same with testosterone. The reference range. They've actually reduced the reference range. Most guys that I see are typically around 400, 500, and they're in their mid-20s or like maybe early 30s. You should be crushing it in life. You want to be having high testosterone at that age because number one, you're trying to find a mate, obviously. Number two, trying to probably build a business. Testosterone is going to help to fuel motivation, drive. That it helps with mood. It helps with resilience. And what Dr. Andrew Huberman emphasizes is that testosterone makes effort feel good. That's awesome. The more testosterone you have, the more inclined you are to actually do the work.
Well, you're motivated.
Motivated. Like how can a guy with low testosterone be motivated to wake up, work 9 hours a day, come back, go to the gym, then look after the family? It's hard. it would be hard for guys.
When we're looking at mental health of men, we're talking about it more than ever before, which I think is a great thing. But why are we having to talk about it more than ever before? Is it because there's more of an incidence that men are silently suffering? I think so, based on what you're talking about.
Exactly, yeah. The sad part is, this is what I hear a lot, is these guys will go to their doctors. Their doctors will say, your result's normal, even if it's like 280 or whatever. Nah.
Heartbreaking. You know, also the reason that also happens is that the path lab determine the reference ranges.
That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy? Like the pathology lab get to decide based on the numbers that they're seeing.
That they see. And most people are so unhealthy.
And not only that, the path lab decide if your GP is sending you for a test, not one if we were to order an independent test. That's why we want to order independent tests, because we get what we ask for. But the pathology lab will decide what's tested based on primary testing.
Yeah,
so if your primary testing looks fine, then they won't look at anything
like
further. But you and I know that if you need the sum of all things to make these decisions.
Oh, yeah.
It's a lot of people being told that they're fine when they're not fine.
Oh, yeah. Also, the other night I had a consult with a patient. He had high cholesterol, but no one ever explained to him that his thyroid was linked to high cholesterol. And he had basically hypothyroidism. His TSH was fine, but his T3 was terrible. It was like 3.8. You are nowhere near where you want to be. Thyroid used to get prescribed back in the 1960s or 1970s to lower cholesterol. Now they've got cholesterol lowering, you know the story, the patenting and all that sort of stuff. Here's some tips. I think icing 10 to 15 minutes, 2 to 3 times a day for men, obviously up against the underwear. Wool or bamboo underwear is going to be important. Eating healthy fats. You've spoken about this many times. Avocados, you know, coconut oil, wild olive, extra virgin olive oil.
Evan will be very happy for that little mention there.
Yep. And then also like eggs, you know, red meat.
All the things we're told we're not supposed to be having.
Exactly. Good quality dairy, you know, Greek yogurt, raw milk.
Close to nature as possible.
Yeah. Some guys get like concerned about carbohydrates, and I just tell them, if you're going to have carbs, eat your fruit, your berries, right? Your berries are full of polyphenols, antioxidants, protects your sperm, protects your testosterone production, helps with cortisol management. And then, yeah, of course, I love my good sourdough bread. I can't say no to that.
Yum. I think it's interesting also because a lot of women will be low in testosterone too. Do you have any suggestions for them?
Yeah, so a few of the clients that I've worked with, we found that some of the herbs that are prescribed for men to boost testosterone actually have a similar effect in women. Tonka Ali, or it's otherwise known as Eurycoma longifolia, that's the Latin name. That can do a pretty good job at increasing or modulating DHEA and supporting testosterone production. And in women, that can lead to an improvement in their libido, their sexual functioning, because you understand that testosterone is important for their sexual desire and that sort of stuff.
And for their hormones too.
Yeah, and also for like bone mineral density, cognition, is definitely some importance needs to be placed on testosterone in that regard.
Yeah, I know. We do definitely think about it for men and not for women. And you just want it to be just right for women as well. You're not supposed to have loads of it.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. Like in a PCOS sort of androgenic state is not ideal.